Treatments, I'm going to buzz straight through these. Like I said, next week we're going to talk about medication more. Medications are very helpful, so is psychotherapy. Studies indicate that a combination of medications and psychotherapy are the most effective treatment for depression. So that's something important to remember. Support groups. There are more invasive, what I call invasive kinds of therapy, like ECT, which used to be called shock treatments. Some people who have a very, very severe depression that has not responded to anything else, any other kind of medication or any other kind of treatment, ECT is often the treatment of last resort. But that's for people that are severely depressed and may be at risk of hurting themselves. Phototherapy, especially up north. I live down here in Florida, so this is not much of an issue, but where it's cold, Alaska, Canada, New York, where the days are short and there's not a lot of sunshine in the wintertime, people develop seasonal affective disorder, and good treatment for them is light therapy. Diet, vitamins and minerals, herbs, acupuncture. Now the rest of them on that list are all still being researched. Some involve magnets, it says magnet. The other ones involve electrical impulses that are, all of these, the magnet therapies are temporary, but the electrical, the vagus nerve, the deep brain are almost like an implantation into the brain with a pacemaker type device. So you can imagine when someone's feeling really depressed, whether they would want to go through all of that. But it is being researched as a treatment. They tend to work faster and have less side effects than medications do. And then finally, there's a new one on the horizon called ketamine. It was a hallucinogenic substance that they're finding now. If small amounts are given in a controlled way through an IV, that the person becomes less depressed within hours. And it only lasts for about a week and they have to have another treatment. But the things in red are all on the horizon. The other ones are being used as we speak. Self-care, I think number one, rule out physical causes first. Make sure that there's nothing physically wrong, and that would be a visit to your physician or your healthcare provider. As I said before, let people in, don't be afraid to ask for help. Try and establish regular sleep and meal times, even if you can't fall asleep. Just try and go to bed at the same time every night, wake up at the same time every morning, and the same thing for meals, eat the same time every day. Limit negativity. I'm sure some of you, if you're like me, felt like you have to just turn the TV off sometimes lately. Sometimes you have to take a break from the news. Sometimes, even if you're not depressed, you hear the news day after day after day, you get depressed because some things on the news are very depressing. So if you limit, you can make a conscious decision to limit negativity. Exercise, share it. I say fake it till you make it. Even if you feel depressed, act like you're not depressed. Studies indicate that if you do this, sometimes when you act like you're not depressed, you actually do start feeling better. Learn and practice cognitive therapy techniques, which is a very effective way to deal with depression. If you affect, there's three areas that it focuses on: a negative feeling about yourself, negative feeling about the future, and a negative feeling about the world. And if we can change the negative thinking, then we can change the negative behavior. And you can do some of that yourself. It helps to have a cognitive therapist as well. And don't stop taking the medication. That's like someone who takes antibiotics and after 2 days, they feel much better, so they don't take the rest of them. It's the same thing. If you feel better when you have depression, don't stop taking your medication. You need it until you get the okay from your healthcare professionals. Okay, I'm going to skip stigma for today. The important question, the reason people don't get help for depression is because they're afraid. Depression is listed as a mental illness. People don't want other people to see them as having a mental illness, and that's a whole nother issue that we can talk about some other time. I like this quote. This is one of my favorite quotes that I use with my depressed patient. The best way out is always through. In other words, they may talk about, oh, the world would be better off without me. Maybe if I just, took pills and went to sleep, never woke up everything would be better. I wouldn't be in this pain anymore. And I heartily disagree. The best way out is always through. That's the best, is to go through what you're going through. There is a light at the end of the tunnel, and I think it's really important when you're depressed not to forget about that. But if you're concerned about someone being suicidal, please do not be afraid to ask them. You are not going to put the idea in their head. They already have it. You're just bringing the talk out in the open, and sometimes that's what needs to be done.